Jai Hind all, I am Raghav welcomes you all on your own YouTube channel SSB Anecdotes. Today I am having a conversation with Mr. Sandeep Kumar who got recommended from 2FSB Mysore. And after listening his interview, you will get an idea that अगर यार कोई एक टास्क भी बेकार हो ना तो टेंशन नहीं लेनी. He did only 24 SRT and the incident was so funny, you will get to know. But still he got recommended. So you have to do your best in all the 5 days. एंड अगर कोई टास्क बेकार जाता है तो उसकी टेंशन बिल्कुल नहीं लेनी. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट टॉकिंग टू हिम. So, Mr. Sandeep, good morning. And Meru Ella
Good morning.
Unnaru.
నేను చాలా బాగున్నాను. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
Actually, this is the only sentence which I know, and I learned it from the Google Baba. So now we will converse in English only.
It's okay.
Yeah. So many congratulations to you for getting recommended in the first attempt itself, and you got recommended
Thank
from
you.
the AFSB Mysore. So I know that the feeling is great, but I also want to hear it from your mouth that how it felt for being a recommended candidate.
This is my first time getting applying for the AFSP or AFCAT and then getting recommended. I am a mechanical graduate, passed out from 2019 itself. So I initially planned for my master's, but I suddenly had to drop out as my father passed away. And then because of the COVID, I had to defer my admission for another 1 more year. And then in the meanwhile, I had got back to giving my AFCAT. So this was my first attempt actually in 2020. And I had my interview on in the January batch, and I was recommended from the Mysore.
So it's great that despite of difficulties, you achieved it in the first attempt itself. And I know that feeling because I had experienced that also. The people are very happy after getting recommended. And now, so you are in the 2020 second batch, I think, AFCAT.
Yeah, that is true.
So you must be waiting for the merit list. And in the month, in this month itself, it will come and you will soon join the academy.
Yeah, hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will join the academy. So, as many of our fellow aspirants are also preparing for the SSBs, so I just want to know some insights of the SSB and in your experience, what you would like to advise. So we can go with the day one, the screening one, because that plays an important role. Because first we have to go in, then we will play the other game. So tell me something about your experience at the day one itself.
Before getting into day one, I'll just go start with how I prepared for the AFSP as well. So after getting recommended, so I was actually outside when I actually checked my AFCAT score, and then that I'm actually selected for the AFSP interview, and then I was really happy. But I didn't know what actually the process, the whole process is like in detail. I know that it was going to take 5 days, and then I know what are these, and then I did not know in depth. So I started researching what are the things that they'll be conducting there, and then I actually wanted to try to take a coaching academy, join a coaching academy itself. But I had to drop out because of the ongoing pandemic back then. While I was also looking for the academy, I was also searching for videos, and then I started reading stories of all the candidates on SSB crack, of everything, not only of those who got recommended in their first, 4th, 7th, or 11th attempt, but also of those that did not. I actually tried to pick up their shortcomings, like what mistakes they made, and then most of them, from the common point that I've observed from all of them is like in whatever attempt that they were recommended, they were actually just true to themselves. Like they did not try to fake anything, or they did not try to be someone else that they are not. Also, they actually put in effort on themselves to make themselves better. So I thought a coaching center is not going to give me of those qualities that they are looking for. They're just going to help me make myself, present myself better. So I thought I'll just start working on myself.
Yeah, I also agree with you, Sandeep, that looking at the shortcomings of others and what the mistakes others doing, we can also inculcate the value and the qualities, because no coaching center will inculcate those qualities in you, because if you have it in you, then they will automatically come up.
So with that, the mindset that I had before going to the AFSB was like, I have put in my best efforts, and then I try to be the best of myself. So even if I get the recommended tag or not, I had other plans as well. So I wasn't what do you say, trying to put up a show or something. So I was just going there, putting in my best efforts, and then come back. That was all in my mind going to the AFSB. And
so
then
I think it is the best advice that if you are going to SSB or AFSB, just give your best and do not think about the results. Show your best and perform your best in every activities. And if you have it in you, you will get recommended. There is no issue in that. Yeah.
And during the day one, there were around 202 candidates who actually checked into showed up at the Mysore selection board. And then we were given chess numbers and all. And then we were taken for the document verification and everything. And then we were put for the officer's intelligent rating test OIR. There were 2 sets, and then I felt that it was pretty easy. For AFCAT, I have prepared using the Arihant series AFCAT book. And then I actually also prepared for there were, 2D images for the PABT test. So I actually applied for flying and then technical as well. So I'm a mechanical engineering graduate. So I applied for the technical branch as well as the flying branch as well. So I also prepared for the CPSS through that book, the PABT test, through that book. And then I think it also has helped me for the OAR as well. So it was pretty easy for me going through the OAR test, both of them. And then we were told to, our PPT season started then. So we were told that we will show, the image will be shown for 30 seconds, and then we'll have 4 minutes to write a story. Yeah, the image was shown for 30 seconds, and then we were actually told that we'll be given 1 minute to mark the characters, what we have seen. So like after the image was shown, like most of the people were started writing the stories. Since I did not know they'll give less time or something, I just felt like they were given 2 minutes. I just kept on looking for the picture for the 30 seconds itself. I did not write the title, and then I was just observing. Most of the guys, when I looked at, they did not observe the background characters. They just picked one of the characters, and then they just simply started writing the character. So for my image, it was very hazy, obviously. And then there was one female character and then 2 male characters in the foreground. But there were also actually 3 male characters in the background to the top right corner. And then if we observe very closely, we can also see them wearing bags. So we can actually see some straps on their shoulders. So I assumed them to be a school or teenage kids. And then I wrote a story about them, returning from the exam and all. As soon as we were done, it felt like we've been given only 2 minutes. The time was passed over very quickly. As I was in one of the starting chess numbers, I did not get any time. The only time that I got was when I was walking from the PPTT hall, from where we have been shown the picture, to the discussion room. So that's all the time that I got. But I kept to myself, and then I just thought about how I'm going to present my story, how I'm going to narrate my story. So during all those 2 or 3 minutes, that's what I've been going through. So as soon as we entered the hall, the GTO greeted us, and then we have been seated according to our chess numbers. And then each one of the guy started narrating their own story. I think one of the mistakes that some of the candidates do is they don't try to listen to their other story. While it is true, they have to prepare to tell their own story, but they also have to listen to others so that you can actually form a group story. Like you can actually come up with one story at the end of the discussion. So I think I don't think that all the candidates listen to each and everyone's story. So after my turn came, I narrated my story, and then I was done within the time itself, and then it passed on. One of the guys had a really nice story. He said these were school or college kids, and then they were conducting some blood donation camp and then returning from there, and then they were so elated for that. So it was a really nice story. So as soon as the last person ended that story, I initiated the group discussion. But another guy stood up, and then he started narrating his story again. So I thought I'll back off a bit, and then I'll find a cool moment, and then I'll try to get the group towards one common point. So after taking a pause, I started. What do you say? Asking everyone, like, we all have a lot of common points. We should try to build the group story around this one. So everyone had a common points, like there were one girl. There was one girl, and everyone saw only two boys, while I saw five boys. So I said, like, we can say that the group of boys and then one girl, and then we can come up with the common points, like they are teenagers, they have been going to school or college. We can agree on this. So while I have been making up this and trying to build up some story with other candidates, there have been people who are shouting as well. But if I look back now, all the guys who got screened in were the one who actually agreed with someone else, and then who actually listened to others, and then came up with a common story. So four of us agreed. Like, even I agreed with the guy who told the blood camp story. So it was better than mine. So I thought I should just go with that. So four of us agreed, and then four of us got screened in with the same story.
Yeah. So the key is that first, the thing you told, that many of the students were not recognized the picture correctly. They are just writing the story by seeing the first characters. So first we have to perceive the picture correctly. Like, they are giving 30 seconds, and we are having 1 minute another to write the characters. So in that time, we can also utilize that time to perceive the picture, because that's also in our mind. And the thing you told about the PPT narration, that your narration should be crisp, and that you should be agree to other persons. Now, you should not be the one who is dominating or who is shouting and not listening to others. So the key is that you should be a cooperative person, because you have to perform in the group in the 5 days process. So if you are not cooperating in this stage, that you will not cooperate in the group as well. So the cooperation is the key to get in, and the narration.
That is true.
Yes. And one more query that I have, that what about the self-nominating, that if the group is not nominating anyone? So if we are nominating self, so what's your opinion about that? That it is right to do that or not?
I mean, in my group, one of the guy recommended the last guy who had this blood camp story. So I thought he was pretty good. So I just went with it. But if in case a group doesn't come up with, if anyone in the group is not coming up with someone, and then you can take the initiative. Like, you can say, like, I'll narrate the story. I have come across a couple of guys recently who actually did not, have anyone coming up with the aim to narrate the story. So they actually stood up, and they got screened in, they got recommended. Like, but they took the initiative. So yeah, I think it is a brave thing to do, but you should also keep in mind that when you're nominating yourself to narrate the group story, you are not narrating your own story, but the groups. So before in the group discussion, that's what should happen. You should come up with what the group agrees. Like, you should come up with everyone, what everyone agrees, or some majority of the people.
Yes. Yeah, I also agree with that. That if you are nominating yourself, then it's your duty to come up with everyone's point, because you are saying to the assessor that, yes, sir, I can narrate the common story. So it means that you are giving them indication that you can come up with all the points of the group. Yeah. So this is all about the day one. Now we will move after the screening. What was there is a natural happiness in the mood and the mind, that yes, it's like that we got recommended after getting a screen. It's the feeling the same. They call our names, and then we have to say our date of birth. So it's all done. Yes. It
was really nice to hear my chest number when they called up. So it felt pretty good. Really good that I got called up, because no one wants to, in the first attempt, like, no one wants to go back the first day. At least they want to go through the whole process once, and then they'll see what they can do. Yeah. So it felt really good that I got screened in. And then in the end of the first day, we were just taking our documents, and then we fill the PIQ form. So before coming to AFSB itself, I actually tried to fill a PIQ form. So I actually know what a PIQ form is, but I did not try to write it. So that was one mistake that I did. So candidates can actually prepare in advance the PIQ form as well as the self description in the psychology test which we'll be having on the day 2. So I have done the self description test before itself. So that actually helped me a lot. And also in the PIQ form, I did not put anything that I did not do. Like whatever I am, I just did it. Like I have gone through some technical projects during my academic background, but I have not participated in a lot of them. Also, I did not have any particular achievements. So as what do you say, like any bigger achievements other than these, the participations. So I did not present any of, I did not try to present them as achievements. So they were just some of the extracurricular activities that I've participated in. So that's how I fill my PIQ form. And even in my extracurricular activities, I just played some sports at table tennis. So I did not even present it as an achievement. I just put it in the extracurricular section. So I did not try to put something that I was not. I was okay with that.
Yes, yes. And that should be the way, because the interview is mostly based on the PIQ. And if you are giving some extra information that you didn't do, and they will ask the question on that, and then they will caught you that you are lying. So it's no way of showing you an extraordinary person. If you had done it, that's well and good. And if you didn't do that, so it's good that you write whatever you had achieved or you have done in the real life also. So Sandeep, a very good information you told about the PIQ, that students should prepare it beforehand, so they have an idea that what to write in the actual PIQ form. So now we will move towards the psych test, because there is many questions on the psych test, that how to perform in the TET or WET or SRT. So please give some insights on that also.
So after the day 1 itself, I was lucky enough that all my other things like psych test, G2, and then interviewer were on separate days. So the second day for me, for everyone, it was the psych test. So in the psych test, before going to the AFSP itself, I have gone through TAT, VAT, and SRTs. I did not prepare much for the VAT and SRTs, but I have but I've learned that the essence of the TAT is like you have to put your genuine opinion in that, and then like some people try to put it in a too positive mode, like whatever they see, they'll try to convert into the positive outcome. So I did not try to do that. Actually, in my TAT, I have actually written 4 negative stories, I can say. So out of 12, and then my TAT was on point. I think I felt really happy with my TAT. And then the 12th story, I actually have written it based on my life itself. So I felt really happy that I did that. And then we had gone through the word association test. I really did not prepare much for the word association and then SRTs, but I did not leave anything blank for the word association test. Even for the sum of the words, I have just written the meanings. I did not even write the complete sentences. So for the SRTs, I thought I'll continue doing the same thing. I'll just put my best efforts, and then I'll just try to write what I think would be the better option. So I have actually written only 24 SRTs, but I'm first quite happy with them. So when I was writing the 24th SRT, the ma'am came and just told everyone to keep their hands up. Yes. So I thought something must have gone wrong. I thought it was only half time, and then I had another half an hour to go. But unfortunately, the time was up. And then we were told to start writing for self-description, which I have prepared in advance. So I was actually prepared to write everything about me and what my parents, teachers, and then friends think about me, all my positives and negatives within 15 minutes. Also, I felt that was pretty good.
Okay. So you told that you did only 24 SRTs and you were thinking that something wrong happened, and ma'am is just stopping for that. So, and after doing 24 SRT, you got recommended. So many of the students will get a boost from this, that if they are not doing much SRTs like 45 or 50, and if you are doing quality 24 or 30 SRTs, then there is a chances. So they do not lose hope on the day 1 itself that I didn't perform well in the SRT. So it's really boosting this. And you told something that you write some negative stories in the TED, and what about that? Actually, I just heard
negative in the sense, I can just come up with one example. Like in this one TAT, it was like there was a picture of some older guy with a garland on the top, and then a lady was crying near the picture, and then a kid was closer to the screen. He was playing with a tank toy, like, yeah. So I have written that that is his father's photo, that is her father's photo, which has been hanged there, put up there, and then it's his death anniversary, and then this was the toy that the kid had got from his grandfather and so on. So I've written similar to that. So it's not all the stories that I've written had a positive outcome. And then even one picture, I assumed it to be a storm. So there was someone in a boat going through a storm, and then someone actually helped them. So it was similar to that. So not everything was in a positive way.
Okay, okay.
So that's
and that picture is quite in the outside display also, that boy is playing with the tank, and it,
yeah.
So that was a good story that you ended in that manner. So, and
Yeah.
the SRT thing I liked the most, that the feeling that you was thinking that something wrong happened, but the time was up.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting. And you was also thinking after getting recommended that it doesn't affect that if you are doing not so many SRTs.
Yeah.
And the SD part, yes, continue.
Yeah, about the self-description, I've actually sought genuine opinions by my parents and friends. I actually, before coming to the starting the journey for the AFSP, I actually called one up and then texted someone, and then like I asked my family. I sat them down, and then I was like, okay, what am I good at, and then what am I not good at? So this was the first thing. This was very odd and new thing for someone in my family to ask something like that. So they were just blank for a couple of seconds. Then I told them, no, I'm not going to do anything. Just tell me what are the positives that you think about me, and then what are the negatives that you think that I can improve. What are the things that you think that I can improve on? And then the same thing that I did with my other relatives and friends and family as well. So they have actually given me some opinions, and then I put those things in my self description itself.
So the others can also follow that. They can ask their parents or the friends that what are the good qualities you have and what are the shortcomings you have. So they will get some idea, because sometimes we think ourselves and we do not get that incident in the mind or that idea. But if we ask someone else, so they can guide us in the good manner. So I think this should be done by everyone to know and their opinions, so they can write the truth in the self description.
Yeah. So there was a psych test, and after returning from the psych test was where I started worrying, because I have written only 24 SRTs. I was really happy with my SRTs and TATs and then WTs. Before coming to the process, I have just learned about what the process is and what one should do. But I did not know what the average was. Like, I did not know how many SRTs would a normal guy write. Like you said, like aspirants would be thinking like you will have to write 40 or 50. So everyone in my group, everyone around me, they have written minimum of 35 plus SRTs. And then that was when I started worrying. So this had really impacted my GTO task on the day 3. So on the day 3, we have started with the group discussion in the GTO. So in the group discussion, I don't know. I felt like maybe I'm not. I'm going way over my head in the competition. So yeah, I'm just undermining everyone or something. So I actually did not concentrate on myself, rather on others. So I did not put up my best effort in the group planning exercise or the GD or the lecture itself. So these are the 3 things that I think I could have improved a lot on.
That's what I was saying. After getting your interviewed experience, many students can learn that अगर यार नहीं हुई ज़्यादा सेट तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आगे वाले टास्क में परफॉर्म करेंगे अच्छा। और वो तुम्हारे साथ हुआ, ऐसा होता है यार, जब हम खुद 24 या कम करेंगे तो खुद से लगता है यार दूसरों ने इतने ज्यादा कर दिया और हमने इतना नहीं किया, तो थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट आता है। पर the result matters and your result is recommendation. So we can say that यार ठीक है, कम करी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, अगले टास्क में बढ़िया करेंगे और फिर उसमें बढ़िया परफॉर्म करेंगे। So we were talking about your GTO experience.
Yeah, as I told you, I was really down, and then I did not perform well in these all. But as I learned about the GPE and then progressive group task and then half group tasks, you all the officers there, na, even the GTO or the psychological officer or the interviewing officer, they'll just give you clear instructions first. So I actually recommend the candidates to listen to the instructions carefully and not miss anything. Like GTO has briefed us before the task itself. Like most of the candidates, they forget to pick the materials. They'll drop them. They'll not even care about the materials. They'll just go on about solving the task. So I kept that in mind. And then also he said, like when they give concession, like they'll give us some 5 seconds or something to for the everyone to get to the other side, and then just 1 or 2 guys to stay in the task. So people just feel, they don't move, they don't actually use that help that Jiro is giving you. So I kept those 2 things in mind and told to myself, I will not do these 2 mistakes. So as soon as we started the task, I was not the first one on the task and solving the task. I was actually the one who picked up the materials, and then I stayed back and then I was looking at the task. So if someone was stuck somewhere, I will try to give my solution. I actually did that in 2 or 3 times during the whole task. And when someone actually thought that I should go first, I actually went ahead without thinking. So that, I think there was a positive from the group task.
So we can learn that if you are not giving the ideas, but you are helping the group in a positive manner, that also matters. That's what you did.
That also matters.
You was helping in the material, because many of the things students think that we will give the idea, we will implement this, and they do not care about the load, especially the load thing and the fatta and bali. But everything should be go from this line to that line. That the GTO instruction is like that. That it's your team, and they add up those material in our team also. That's your team consists of these things. Then everything you should take from this end to that end. So I think if you are not getting an idea, but you are giving a positive contribution to the group, that can also help in the PGT or LGT.
So after my PGT, and then
so how many PGT structures your group has completed?
4.
Okay, that's good. In my experience, we were able to do only 2. So
I was really lucky. Like everyone in my group was so chill. They were not pushy. So they did not. They actually tried to listen to everyone. So they did not leave anyone behind. So I was actually really lucky that I got that group. Then including me, 2 members of our group were recommended. So yeah, I think there was a right decision. Yeah, it was a really good group.
Okay.
That I know.
And what about the HGT?
About the HGT, I was split into a team of 3. And then in the team of 3, we were able to solve the task. And then we were almost stuck on the last one. What do you say? On the task in the last part. But the other guy came up with a really brilliant idea to so everyone actually picked up where the others left. So they did not try to give another solution, like a different solution for the solution already present. They just try to pick up where the other guys left. So that was a really good thing that my group had did. So yeah, after the HGT, we had a lecturette.
Yes.
In the lecturette, I did not do enough itself. So we were supposed to talk for 3 minutes. And then thinking of how everyone is, like how tough the competition is, I did not, I think I spoke only for 2 minutes maybe. And then I just came and sat back. So I was really down after the lecture. I did not know what I was going to do for the command task or the individual obstacles. Only everything was, all of this was going through my mind. But after the lecturette, we were supposed to do the command task, and then as you know already, during the command task, the GTO will have a talk with the candidate itself, alone with the candidate. So the GTO actually asked me, so after the lecture, I had a talk with the personal talk with the GTO, and then he asked me like, what was your background and why are you trying to become an officer and everything. So that's when I actually got back to myself. I reminded myself of why I was here. I'm not here to become an officer. I'm just here to give my best. So you already know that you have all those oil cubes and all. So you're not trying to uh, put up a show or something. So you already have it. You're not trying to do something that you are not. So that's when uh, I got all my confidence back, and then I stopped thinking about all the competition, and I just started focusing on myself. So I did the command task. It was done, I'd say, quickly. Not so quick, but it was quick. uh, After that, we had the individual obstacles. So we are supposed to go through 10 individual obstacles, but the one that bothered me the most was the high jump. I know it is only 4 feet; it's not much for a lot of people, but I have never in my life jumped over anything. So I was really worried that if would I be able to jump 4 feet or something. So I started with the high jump itself. So after performing the high jump, I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't worried about how many number of tasks I'm going to complete, how many times I'm going to complete. After the high jump, it was just going and performing. I have done only 5 things. So it was high jump, long jump, and then screen jump, as well as the double ditch, and then the bump ditch. The thing is, I have actually fell 2 or 3 times on the balance beam itself. So it was really high. So in some of the videos or some of the coaching videos that we have seen on YouTube now, it will just be like around 3 or 4 feet, and then just be in a zigzag manner. That might be for the SSB, but for the AFSB, it was way over my height. You have to climb a pole, and then yeah, you have to go on that. Also, I was wearing these running shoes. So, and then also I was running all through the way. So I did not, even after I paused, I could not gather my balance. So I actually fell 2 or 3 times on the balance beam. So I thought then I'll leave it, and then I've gone to the double ditch and the bomber bridge. And then by the time the time was done, the 3 minutes, so I had to go back. So, but I was very happy that I cleared the high jump. I was not worried about how many obstacles that I did. Like I did only 5. I wasn't worried like that. So I thought I gave my best, and then I thought I cleared what I could not clear. So I was very happy with that.
Yes. So your aim was that high jump, that I have to do this.
Yeah.
You were very confident. Yes, and I also say this, that I also watch the videos of the task of individual obstacle. So that might be of the SSPs, but in the AFSB they are quite different. And the thing you were telling about the balancing beam, it's like about 4 to 5 feet we have to climb. Then that's a straight bully. On that we have to one point to another point we have to go, and it's quite unbalancing that many of the students fell down from that. And the screen jump is also quite high, that we have to first climb the ramp, then we have to cross the screen. So it's quite high also there. So they are quite different in the AFSBs. And and what about the command task? Which command task you get in your command task?
In my command task, there were like just 4 wooden storms, and then there was just one what do you say, iron rail in the middle. And then we were supposed to go from this storm to that place. So there was nothing actually. So there was just these 2 storms, and then other 2 storms on the other side, and then just one iron rail in the middle. So we tried to solve that by placing the bully or the plank and the bully. So one guy crossed, and then but we were stuck for the other 2. But after a while, we solved that.
So I have a one query regarding the outdoor task of the GTO, that if a student doesn't have any knowledge about that, so how he have to perform in that real situation? That if he is not getting any idea, and if he is not getting anything, so what the thing he can do? That you already told that he can cooperate in the group, but other than this, what should be in their mind, in his mind, so he can perform well in the PGT outdoor or in anything outdoor, GTO outdoor?
Yeah, in the command task, you cannot like ask. I mean, at least from what I've experienced, you cannot ask your subordinate. That is because you are the commander. Like you have to do something. So
yes.
So what I would try to do is like the instruction was very clear from the GTO, starting from the PGT itself. So it was like you are just trying to cross from this side to that side. So to do that, what do you have to do? You just have to shorten the distance. So you just try to do that. So for me, my task, I tried to shorten the distance by placing those 2. I did not think about that in the first, but when I was stuck, I came back, I got back to those instructions. So I think the instructions that the officers will give now, these will help you solve all the obstacles, and then you'll just try to what do you say? Take a step back and then look and then perform. You'll be able to do that.
Okay. So and I also think that the calmness should be there. That if you are not getting an idea, that you should be calm for 10 to 15 seconds, or you can take 1 minute, and you can get idea. And if you observe the structure clearly or closely. So
yeah,
okay.
Like I said, you can just take a step back and then take a pause, and then you can concentrate. So yes. I'm sure like everyone will be able to do that.
And tell me something about the GP, that there is a fish market in the GP, that everyone is trying to put their points and to give the solution that this is the best solution. So in that situation, that how should we react, or how should we come into the group, or how should we put our points?
In my group discussion and GP, like I told, I was worried about the competition. So I did not actually. There was a couple of instances where it was like a fish market situation, but most people were understanding. So they were actually listening to the others. And then when I actually tried to make a point, they were arguing, yes, but after 5 or 10 seconds, they calmed up to hear my point. So there was one thing that actually helped me in my group.
So we can take a pause, and when we get time, so we can put our points. And what about the common?
Most of the guys, but I know that in some of the groups where it is like a fish market situation, then it doesn't calm down. I haven't experienced that situation, so I cannot actually suggest anything. Sorry.
Yeah, and I also didn't experience that because my GTO was on the 3rd day. So till in 2 days we had a good bonding, and we had done that we will not create a fish market, and it actually happened that we didn't create a fish market. So if we are getting time, so we can do a group bonding, that we will give everybody a chance to give their points. Yeah,
that is true. That actually helps a lot. Like you should not think of others as a competition. Like they're not here to steal your place. They're actually there is the mindset. I think that one should actually keep while going into the FSB is like they are there to select you, not to reject you. Like also even after the day 1 screening, right? We'll be told like even during the psych test, there is no one right answer. You have to just give your own view. There can be a number of ways that they are right. So even in the GTO itself, that will be reiterated in the GTO as well. So it's okay for everyone to have different opinions. You need not be wrong all the time. So yeah.
Okay. So I think the GTO experience is done. Now we can move towards the interview. That plays an important role in the recommendation and in the process itself. So tell us something about your interview experience.
Yeah. In my group, what we used to do was like each and every night, we actually would go to, before going to the sleep, we would actually go through what we would do tomorrow. So every one of us had their interview scheduled for the next day, except for one guy who had it on conference. So everyone was discussing like what we should do. So after the GTO, like I told, I was very clear what I should do. So I did not know a lot of technical stuff about all the aircrafts, like maximum airspeed of all the aircrafts and then loading capacity of all the aircrafts. I did not know all that. So I thought I'll just stick with what I know. I've known about some of the aircrafts in detail, and then I know about myself. So interview. So they are actually trying to know about yourself. So I actually put the emphasis on trying to not stutter and not to give any half-baked answers in the interview itself. So I wanted to be clear about what I want to say about myself. So I actually prepared on that. There are common questions like your academic background, and then your family background, and then your friends, and then what to think about you. So I actually put emphasis on these, and then my group was actually discussing about all the current affairs, which I got to know through everything, the national and the international current affairs. So I actually, I've gone through all those again the previous night. So it was really helpful. And then the day of the next day, I had my interview scheduled. So I was made to wait around just 5 or 10 minutes because I had to rush back from the candidates mess as my interview got preponed. Yeah. So it was very quick. I would say it took me around only 40 minutes for the interview. Uh, uh, so as soon as I entered the room and then I took my seat, the first question was, tell me about yourself. So I had given him the answer like, I'm an engineer, mechanical graduate, and then I'm planning for my master's. And then the first question was, you have barely passed your BTech with just 64% and then 4 backlogs. Who gave you a master's seat? Like what college gave you a master's seat? That was the first question. Yeah, so like I said, I tried to be genuine there itself. I told him, sir, I did a lot of bunking in second year, and then I did not study well in my BTech in the second year, which impacted my scores a lot. But as you can see, from the third and the final year, my scores would have gone skyrocketed from what they have been in the second year. And all my backlogs that I have got, I've already cleared them along with my exams of the third semester in one attempt itself. So that's what I told him. And then he asked me, was there any other exam for the masters that you have written? So I told him that I've written GRE, and then I told him my score in GRE, so he was okay with that. And then he started with the common questions like, tell me about your 10th, 12th, and then academic background. What are the strengths and weaknesses that you have, that your friends, name your top 3 friends. What do you think about you and what do you think about them? And then the common ones, I had gone with them. He also asked me in depth. So whatever he was asking, I was actually, what do you say? Also knew what I was going to say, because I already know that I'm just presenting myself. So like where I'm from, I know about my place. Yeah. So whatever the question he asks me about my place, I'm obviously going to give him. I'm not trying to cover up anything. So when he actually asked me about the masks, I told him that I did not study. So in the second year, that's why I failed. So I gave him whatever the answers that I felt were real.
Yeah, and you remained truthful. That why the less marks I didn't study. You told them.
Yeah.
And the questions about your friends and the families, most of the things we know, and they just wanted to know about ourselves. That's what they ask in the PIQ also. Yeah. Yeah.
Even they ask what do your siblings do, and obviously we have to know about what your siblings do. So they have even actually questioned me about what my sibling does, about their job. Also, I actually told them like, my sister is much smarter than me. She's much more logical than me. When I come up with 2 solutions, she actually comes up with more than 2. So yeah, everything they asked, I did not stutter or did not try to hide anything. So they have even asked, why do you have these best friends? So I told them like, sir, I don't have any best friends, but since you asked me to pick any name any 3, I just named these 3. And then he asked me for the reasons you picked these 3. So I've given him instances where these 3 actually helped me. So whatever he asked me, I was truthful to everything. And then he asked me some technical stuff regarding the aircraft. Also, when I applied for flying is my last preference actually. Below the administration. So I put administration above flying. So he asked me, why would you put flying last? So I actually had given him the answer like, I learned that air traffic controllers come under the flying. So he said, no, flying. I said like air traffic controlling is a much challenging job than flying. He said, you must be dreaming or something. Like, how can flying be easier than air traffic controlling? So he grilled me about that for a couple of questions. I told him, sir, like air traffic controlling, in air traffic control, you have to take care of 2 or 3 aircrafts at the same time itself. In flying, you are only supposed to fly only 1 aircraft. So I thought that was challenging. So I did not know if that was true. I just told him what I thought was true.
Yes. In your opinion, that aircraft controlling is more challenging, yes. And you told them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And it sounds some logical that, aircraft controller in the administration, we have to control the landing and the takeoff of the many aircrafts at the same time. Yeah. And we have to take their routes and everything. And well, in flying, then we have to fly only just 1 aircraft. But it's just our own opinion. We are not giving the facts that it is.
No, I'm not saying anything.
If
It was
someone
my
get
own
hurt,
opinion.
no, flying is more dangerous. So we are also agree with them also.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Flying is not easy.
Yes,
Yeah, flying is not, what do you say, for the normal-hearted people, yeah. It takes some guts to fly as well.
Yeah, really. So, is there any questions where you just got stuck, that you told that you didn't get stuck in any of the questions, but any question you
No,
think that was not in the same manner as you thought, or you stuck?
no, actually, I was very well mentally prepared for the interview. So, like I told you, after the GTO, talking to the GTO, I was really mentally prepared the previous night itself about what I was going to say. So, even the interviewing officer, whenever whatever he asked, I was actually giving everything in detail. So, when I was giving everything, so when I asked me about the academic background, I've started giving him about the projects itself and what I've actually done in the projects also. So, he just stopped. And then he stopped me, and then he put me back to another question. And then in that question, I again giving him an in-depth answer. And then he again stopped, and then he again put me through another question. So luckily for me, there was no point where I was actually stuck in something. So yeah.
And there is a query regarding the rapid fire, that how to handle the rapid fire questions. So, what's your opinion about that?
Like I told you, the rapid fire questions. I mean, are you asking about the 10 to 12 questions, about the 10 questions that they ask at the same time, or the continuous questions they keep on asking?
They ask like 10 to 12 questions in a one go.
Yeah.
So
we actually know what these
and
questions are, right? So like we know all the questions are about yourself. So I thought to myself before going to the interview, like, they're not actually trying to do something to you or put you in a negative way. They're actually trying to know you better. So if you don't know about yourself, I think I don't think you can blame that guy for not selecting you. So I thought I should not be in that situation, and then I should know everything that I have to know about myself. So around 1 month or 15 days before going to the SSB itself, I had prepared everything that I know, even the positives and the negatives. I've told him even my negatives, and I've actually presented my negatives with the way, with a solution, like what I'm trying to overcome my weaknesses. So I've given him 3 of my weaknesses as well and 3 of my strengths as well. One of the things the candidate can do is they cannot try. They should not try to hide their weaknesses, but actually come up with a solution to overcome the weaknesses in their life as well. So they'll actually help them as well.
Yes, and one must know about himself before going to SSB. That introspection thing is that you should know about yourself.
Yeah.
So, and any other advice you want to give regarding the interview, that about the sitting posture, or any common thing that one should keep in mind while giving that interview answers?
Yeah, just be confident in what you're speaking. Like you are going in there to present yourself. You're not waiting for the officer's opinion. So you just he's just trying to know you better, and then you are going to help him know you better. So also the one thing that I observed was they do observe your hands and feet as well. So try to sit in a normal position, not too strict and then not too relaxed. I just sat with my hands on my thighs, and then through the whole interview, I did not shake or stutter or anything. So I think that worked pretty well for me.
So it lasted like 40 minutes of your interview.
Yeah, it was only 40 minutes. And then after the 40 minutes, I was told, you can, do you have any other questions? Then I just came up with a stupid question. I told him, sir, this was only a stupid question. And then he answered the question, and then I just left. I was told to leave.
Okay. So now we come to the final conclusion, the conference day. So
yeah,
let's talk about that.
After the interview, most of them, not all of them were in a really positive mood, but everyone was actually pretty chill. Everyone was okay with what they have done in my room. So they were actually planning the things that we would do outside after getting out the next day. So yeah, everyone was like, even if we get in or not, we'll actually try to enjoy this. And then we were actually pretty happy about the conference and about the whole experience that we had at AFSP.
Yes.
So going into the conference, we were actually planning something to do later the next day. Uh, uh, we were so confident that one of my friends, the other guy who got recommended, now he was so confident that we would actually get out after the conference itself. We would not take each other's numbers. So yeah, that's how we went into the conference. We were headed into the conference. We had been asked to sit in the hall, and then each of us have been called into the conference hall. We were given specific instructions so that we do not waste any time. So you have to push the door. You don't have to. You can just leave it. You do not have to put the door back, and then you should not look around. You just should look for the flag in the glass. So that's the person who will be asking you questions, and that's the person who you should be talking to. So these were some of the instructions that have been given while attending the conference. And then they will just ask me one question in the conference, or like, what is your motivation to join the Air Force? And then I've given the answer, and then after that, I was told to leave. That's it.
So there is only one question in your conference.
Yeah, for me it was. Yeah, for me it was.
So Sandeep, now tell us that how was that feeling from the after the conference and till the results came? What was you thinking at that time? And I think you must be waiting for the results, but what was that feeling exactly?
So after my conference has been done, like even during my conference, the waiting time was for me was around 15 to 20 minutes. After the other guy left, it was around 15 to 20 minutes. I was just waiting in the hall. And then in the meanwhile, I don't know, someone opened the door or the door got opened. And then we can actually hear the officers, some loud voices from the officers room, from the conference room. So other guy next to me was trying to tell me like, they're actually discussing about you itself. That's why they're having this conversation or argument or something. So I was really tense going into the conference room. Even though that I was giving the instruction of not to put the door back, I just pushed the door and then I actually headed back to the door to keep it back, even though it was an automatic door. So yeah, I was really nervous heading into the conference room, but I was asked only one question, like, what's your motivation? And then I was told that I can leave. So after that, I was pretty chill. So everything what has to be done had been done. So I can't do anything now. So I was pretty chill, and then all of us were discussing about things that we could do after getting out, like in the evening and all. At the time before the results were announced, they'll play the video as one video, and then they've actually gave the results. And then mine was a second chess number to be called out, and then the first was the guy sitting next to me. So he actually was in shock. So since he was in my same group, so since all of us were actually planning to go out, and he was shocked, and then so was I. But it felt very happy, and then we were headed to the stage, but we could not actually concentrate anything beyond this one. So that was a really great feeling that we had.
And how many got recommended from your whole batch?
From my own room, there were 2 people who got recommended, me and the other guy. From the whole batch of the 202 people who screened on the first day, who checked in the first day, 8 members got recommended.
Okay. So I think that moment was very happy for you, that you was thinking that yes, I had made it. And what after that getting recommendation, what was your feeling, that to whom you want to call first? Surely your mother.
I wanted to call obviously my mother. I wanted to call my mother and my sister first, but we weren't given our phones. So I thought it's okay if I don't call them by the evening. They'll figure out that I'll have to stay back another day for the CPSS. So I was really happy, but we weren't allowed to give any phones to take our phones. So yes.
So in the evening, they must have given you the phone to call your parents.
No, they actually did not.
Okay. So
they're not.
so she had to know it by herself that yes, he had made it and
Yeah.
he's staying for the CPSs.
Yeah. The one of the main things that I did have before even attending the AFSB or giving the APCAT was a lot of support from my family. So I think that has been one of the major positives that I had with me. So even most of my relatives, they don't know, they did not know what Air Force is before my AFSB, before my recommendation. But they were like, you can do it. Like they were just supporting me. Like whatever I do, they'll support me. So that was one of the one of the bigger positives that I had with heading into the interview.
And it really plays a role that your family is totally supporting you, that it boosts your confidence also. And yeah, in the phase of doing preparation for the competitive exam, I can also feel that family support is must, that they are supporting you, that you can also do that because there is a back from their side, and you do not have any tension in your mind that what my family will think, and they will say that beta, you will do it, irrespective of what we will do, but they will support totally that you will do it.
Yeah, they were not like you should do it or you should get get this one or anything like that. They were just okay with that. So that did not have, that had a really positive impact as well. So yeah.
And you were telling that you prepared for the CPS from some book. So can you give the reference of that book?
Yeah, it was Arihant AFCAT series notebook. So in that book, there are what is it, 2D images of slides as well, so that you can actually try to figure out the horizon and all. So it actually helped me a bit. Also, I was lucky enough that one of the other guys who got recommended, he actually knows about all the instruments. He had given his CPSs the last time. So he had notes, and then the night before our CPSs, after we got recommended, he actually shared the note with us about all the instruments that are going to be in the PABT test. So we already, what do you say? In this PABT test, you will have a 30-minute video explaining all the instruments. But heading into the PABT, we already knew what we were expecting.
Yeah.
So that was pretty.
Got some idea that what task and what type of test is going to happen. So it is a difficult test, or what you think that CPS is? It is difficult to pass, or it's an of average level?
I think PABT, it depends on CPSS is, as you know, a flight control, sort of like a flight simulator and all. So you just have to play some games there. So you'll just they'll try to figure out your hand and eye coordination, as far as I know. So I think what I did was in between the games, I actually took a pause. So there's no time limit, like after this game, you immediately have to start this game. So when you click on the start, the game starts. So I actually took a pause in between games. So even if I did not do good in one of the games, I took a pause for 10 or 15 seconds, and then I just took a step back, and then I just again started the game. So we were told like we will be given 2 tries for the first game, and then we'll have the best of 3 next. But we were not given the 2 trials, so it was only 3. So I think candidates should look out for that as well.
So you must relax yourself and just analyze the things, and you can easily do that. Yes, you should keep calm at that moment. So is there any time foundation also for that those tests?
For the PABT, or there is a time limit for the PABT as well as the CPSS. So the CPSS, as you start the game, there will obviously be an end as well. So it will be time restricted, and the same thing is with the PABT. So first we'll have a PABT. Those who qualified after the PABT will be taken to the CPSS.
So these are 2 different tests in the same battery.
So this PABT, I think it is this is a computer-based test. So we will be given after being explained through the video about all the instruments. We will be facing some questions as well as the images, like I told you. There will be images of 2D images of plane, and as well as 3D images of plane. And there will be the answers will be the options of which direction the plane is facing, or going, or heading back, or something like that. So you'll have to pick out the answers from those things.
So now we have a complete idea of all the SSP, and you also give insight of the CPSS and the PABT test. So in the end, any advice for the candidates who are going for the SSBs, like the NDA SSBs coming up from this week also, and SSBs are also running on every Monday, So any advice to the guys who are going to SSBs?
Yeah, just going before the SSB, like try to figure out about yourself and also what your motivation is to join the forces. Like if you have a clear-cut idea of why you're going there and then what keeps you going, I think it should be a cakewalk for you. Yeah. So just go with a clear mindset.
So it was very nice talking to you, Sandeep, and I really had a good talk with you. And the experience you shared that about the SRT, I will never forget. And I can feel that what you was feeling that time, because in my own experience, I didn't perform well in the PGT or HGT. So I was also feeling that apna kaam ho gaya, ab nahi hota kuch bhi aage. So that feeling comes, it's natural that that feeling comes. But we have to stay positive and stay strong, and we have to perform well in the next task.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just give your best and then forget about it.
Yeah.
After you have done it, there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, just don't try to think about that.
Yes. And the overall experience of the SSB is great, and it's for the lifetime that we never experienced such a thing.
Yeah, it was a really good. I also made a really good group of friends from the AFSP, so I would never forget that experiences.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Sandeep, for the interview.
Thank you.
Okay, Jai Hind.
Jai.